Right now, you're holding something most people will never understand. A secret so fundamental, so transformative, that once you truly grasp it, your entire relationship with reality will never be the same. This isn't about wishful thinking or positive psychology. This is about the raw, scientific truth of how attention literally sculpts the world around you. Most people believe they're passive observers of life, watching events unfold like spectators in a cosmic theater. But that's the greatest illusion ever sold to humanity. You're not watching reality. You're actively constructing it, moment by moment, through the focused beam of your conscious awareness. And the moment you understand this mechanism, everything changes. Let me show you what I mean. Right now, as you focus on these words, billions of other sensory inputs are competing for your attention. The feeling of air on your skin, sounds in your environment, thoughts bubbling up from your subconscious. But your attention has selected this particular stream of information to amplify and make real in your experience. That selection process isn't passive, it's creative. It's literally bringing one version of reality into existence while allowing infinite others to remain dormant. This is the foundation of something science calls the observer effect. At the quantum level, particles exist in what physicists call superposition. They're not in any specific location or state until the moment a conscious observer measures them. The act of observation itself collapses infinite possibilities into one concrete reality. But here's what will blow your mind. This same mechanism isn't confined to physics laboratories. It's operating in your bank account, your relationships, your health, your entire life experience. Your attention isn't neutral. It carries a specific vibrational signature, an energetic command that the field of consciousness around you responds to instantly. When you focus on lack while feeling the emotion of desperation, you're not just observing poverty, you're collapsing it into your timeline. When you obsess over problems with the full weight of your emotional investment, you're not just thinking about difficulties, you're instructing the universe to deliver more of them. This explains why so many people stay trapped in predictable cycles despite their best intentions. They're unconsciously using their most powerful creative tool, their focused attention, to reinforce the very patterns they claim they want to escape. They look at their empty bank account and feel lack. They observe their loneliness and amplify the frequency of separation. They focus on their limitations and broadcast the signal of powerlessness. But imagine this. What if you could flip that mechanism completely? What if instead of accidentally creating more of what you don't want, you could learn to deliberately focus your attention on collapsing the reality you do want? This isn't fantasy. This is how every breakthrough in human history has occurred. Someone shifted their attention from what was impossible to what was inevitable, and reality rearranged itself to match their unwavering focus. The ancient masters understood this principle intuitively. When they spoke of the power of faith, they weren't talking about blind belief. They were describing a state of consciousness where your attention becomes so aligned with your desired outcome that you literally can't imagine any other possibility. That's not positive thinking. That's quantum engineering. But here's where most people get stuck. They try to use this principle while still carrying the emotional baggage of their current circumstances. They attempt to focus on abundance while their nervous system vibrates with the frequency of survival. They visualize love while their heart broadcasts loneliness. They affirm success while their body chemistry reflects failure. And then they wonder why nothing changes. The field doesn't respond to your words. It doesn't care about your vision boards or affirmations. It responds to your authentic energetic state, the sum total of your thoughts, emotions, and subconscious beliefs, all broadcasting simultaneously. When these elements are misaligned, your signal becomes scrambled. The universe literally doesn't know what you're asking for because you're sending conflicting instructions. This is why transformation requires what I call attention coherence. Your mind, heart, and body must all be broadcasting the same message. Your thoughts must align with your emotions, which must align with your nervous system, which must align with your energetic field. When this coherence occurs, something magical happens. You become a clear, focused transmitter, and the universe has no choice but to respond with precision. Let me give you a practical example. Most people wake up and immediately scan their environment for problems. Their attention automatically gravitates toward bills, deadlines, relationship conflicts, health concerns. Within minutes of opening their eyes, they've already instructed their reality to deliver more stress, more struggle, more limitation. Their attention has collapsed a timeline of difficulty before they've even gotten out of bed. But someone who understands the power of attention operates differently. They wake up and deliberately choose where to place their focus. They might spend the first few minutes feeling gratitude, not for what they already have, but for what they're consciously choosing to create. They generate emotions of peace, excitement, and possibility before their analytical mind can start scanning for problems. They're not being delusional, they're being strategic. They're using their attention like a laser, cutting through the probability field to collapse the timeline they prefer. The most successful people throughout history have been masters of attention management. They understood that reality is far more fluid and responsive than most people realize. They knew that by maintaining unwavering focus on their desired outcome, while simultaneously embodying the emotional state of already having achieved it, they could literally pull their vision from the realm of possibility into the realm of experience. But this isn't just about individual success. The collective attention of humanity is constantly shaping our shared reality. When millions of people focus on fear, conflict, and scarcity with strong emotional investment, that's exactly what manifests on a global scale. When groups of people align their attention on peace, abundance, and possibility, miraculous shifts occur that defy conventional explanation. This means you have a responsibility that goes far beyond your personal desires. Every moment you choose to focus your attention on love instead of fear, on possibility instead of limitation, on connection instead of separation, you're not just changing your own life. You're contributing to a field of consciousness that influences everyone around you. The ancient Hawaiian practice of Ho'oponopono demonstrates this principle beautifully. Practitioners believe that by healing their own consciousness, by taking responsibility for everything they experience and focusing their attention on love and forgiveness, they can literally heal situations and relationships without any external action. Western science is now discovering that this isn't mystical thinking. It's quantum mechanics in action. Your attention is the most powerful force you possess. It's more potent than your intellect, your willpower, or your physical efforts. When properly focused, it can bend reality in ways that seem impossible to the rational mind. But it requires training, consistency, and absolute faith in the process. Think about the last time you experienced a breakthrough or unexpected positive development in your life. I guarantee that in the period leading up to that event, your attention had shifted. You had stopped obsessing over the problem and started focusing on the solution. You had moved from desperation to trust, from forcing to allowing, from fear to faith. That shift in attention preceded and caused the external change. Most people get this backwards. They wait for external circumstances to improve before they'll focus on positive outcomes. They think seeing is believing. But at the quantum level, believing creates the seeing. Your internal state of consciousness, maintained consistently over time, becomes your external reality. There's no getting around this principle. It's as fundamental as gravity. This is why every spiritual tradition emphasizes the importance of meditation, prayer, and contemplation. These aren't religious rituals. They're attention training technologies. They teach you how to withdraw your awareness from the chaos of external circumstances and focus it with laser-like precision on the reality you choose to create. But traditional meditation is just the beginning. Advanced practitioners learn to maintain this focused attention throughout their daily activities. They walk through life with their consciousness tuned to possibility rather than problems. They interact with others from a state of love rather than judgment. They make decisions from trust rather than fear. Their entire existence becomes a continuous act of conscious reality creation. The implications of this understanding are staggering. It means that nothing in your life is fixed or permanent. Every situation, every relationship, every limitation is simply a collapsed possibility that can be changed by shifting your attention. Your financial situation isn't set in stone. Your health isn't predetermined. Your capacity for joy, love, and success isn't limited by your past experiences. But it also means you can't blame external circumstances for your life experience anymore. If reality is truly responsive to your attention, then everything you're experiencing is a reflection of where your consciousness has been focused. This can be initially uncomfortable to accept, but it's ultimately incredibly empowering. It means you have the power to change anything by changing your focus. The process isn't always instantaneous, but it's always inevitable when applied correctly. The time lag between shifting your attention and seeing external results depends on several factors: how deeply ingrained your old patterns are, how consistently you maintain the new focus, how much emotional charge you bring to the process, and how aligned your subconscious beliefs are with your conscious intentions. But here's what most people don't realize. The moment you authentically shift your attention, the quantum field begins rearranging immediately. You might not see physical evidence right away, but the process has begun. Synchronicities start appearing. Opportunities present themselves. People and resources show up in unexpected ways. The universe begins conspiring to match your new vibrational frequency. The key is to maintain your focus regardless of external appearances. This is where most people fail. They focus on their desired outcome for a few days or weeks, but when they don't see immediate results, they fall back into old patterns of attention. They start looking at their current circumstances and feeling discouraged. They begin to doubt the process, and in doing so, they collapse back into the timeline they were trying to escape. True mastery of this principle requires unwavering faith. Not blind faith, but educated faith based on understanding how consciousness operates. You must become absolutely convinced that reality is responsive to your attention, regardless of what your physical senses are telling you in the moment. You must learn to trust the process more than you trust appearances. This is why the most powerful manifestations often occur when people have reached a point of complete surrender. They've tried everything else. They've exhausted all external solutions. They have nothing left but faith in the power of consciousness itself. In that moment of surrender, their attention becomes crystal clear. There's no desperation, no grasping, no emotional interference, just pure, focused intention aligned with complete trust. And reality responds accordingly. The ancient mystics called this state dying before you die. It's not about physical death, it's about the death of the ego's need to control how things unfold. When you can focus your attention on your desired outcome while simultaneously being completely unattached to when and how it manifests, you become an unstoppable force of creation. But you don't have to wait for a crisis to access this power. You can begin training your attention right now. Start small. Choose one area of your life where you'd like to see improvement. Instead of focusing on what's wrong or missing, begin to focus consistently on what you want to create, not just intellectually, but emotionally. Generate the feelings you would have if your desired outcome were already real. Do this not once, but repeatedly throughout each day. When your old patterns of attention try to pull you back into focusing on problems, gently redirect your consciousness toward your vision. Think of it as mental martial arts. You're not fighting your thoughts. You're redirecting their energy towards something more empowering. Most importantly, pay attention to how this feels in your body. When you focus on your problems, notice how your nervous system contracts. Your breathing becomes shallow. Tension builds in your muscles. Stress hormones flood your system. This is your body's way of telling you that you're collapsing a timeline of struggle. Now notice what happens when you shift your attention to your vision. When you focus on what you want to create while generating feelings of gratitude, excitement, and possibility, your body relaxes. Your breathing deepens. Your heart rate becomes coherent. Feel-good neurotransmitters are released. Your entire physiology is communicating that you're aligned with a timeline of flow and ease. This isn't just about feeling good, though that's certainly beneficial. It's about recognizing the energetic signature of different timelines. Your body is a sophisticated quantum sensor, constantly giving you feedback about which reality you're tuned into. Learn to read these signals and use them as guidance for your attention. As you develop this skill, you'll begin to notice that reality becomes increasingly responsive to your focus. Coincidences multiply. Solutions appear from unexpected sources. People say exactly what you need to hear. Resources manifest precisely when you need them. This isn't luck or wishful thinking. It's the natural result of aligning your consciousness with the fundamental creative principle of the universe. The most advanced practitioners reach a point where they no longer distinguish between imagination and reality. Not because they're delusional, but because they understand that imagination is simply the preview of what consciousness is preparing to create. They live in a constant state of expectation, knowing that whatever they can focus on consistently with emotional conviction will eventually collapse into their physical experience. This is the true power of attention. It's not just a mental faculty, it's the primary tool of consciousness for sculpting reality. When you master this tool, you become a co-creator with the universe itself. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become an architect of experience. You realize that everything you've ever wanted has been waiting in the field of infinite possibility, and your focused attention is the key that unlocks it all. The question isn't whether this works. Quantum physics has proven that consciousness affects reality at the most fundamental level. The question is whether you're willing to take responsibility for the incredible creative power you possess and learn to use it consciously rather than accidentally. Your attention is shaping your reality right now, in this very moment. The only question is whether you're going to direct it consciously toward what you want to create or allow it to drift unconsciously toward whatever captures it. The choice is yours, and the power is real. The universe is waiting for your instructions. What reality will you choose to collapse into existence? The future starts with your next thought, your next feeling, your next moment of focused attention. If this message has awakened something within you, if you feel the truth of these words resonating in your bones, then you're ready to begin this journey consciously. Subscribe to stay connected with this frequency of possibility. Share this with others who are ready to remember their creative power. Because when we align our collective attention on what's possible rather than what's wrong, we don't just change our individual lives, we transform the world.